On this episode of EcoSense,
Beavers are having a moment.
Beavers they're incredibly adaptable, they're incredibly flexible. They'll live in the Bronx River in New York City, they'll live in downtown Seattle, they'll live in Walmart parking lots.
We built the United States of America on the backs of beavers and on the backs of our floodplains, really. And when we had nothing but abundant water and not that many people on the planet, it worked.
So my dad asked me, son, what's wrong with the dam? Well, nothing if you hate rivers.
I met Ben Goldfarb, author of the book Eager, to find out why beavers are having a moment.
so what do you think about the old one? What would they have done here?
Well, they're probably right here. You can almost see this little underwater tunnel here.
Wow. How long can they stay underwater?
Up to 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Yes, that's incredible breath holders.
Okay.
They're good at what they
Who
do.
knew? Why do beavers get such a bad rap?
I'm a beaver apologist, right? I love these animals, but I recognize that they can be challenging to live with sometimes. You know, they change the environment in all kinds of ways, and obviously we humans like the environment the way that we made it, right? So when they build dams and road culverts and wash out roads or clog up irrigation ditches or, you know, cut down a farmer's fruit trees, you know, they're just doing what they do naturally, but, you know, it can be irritating for us humans. You know, I think the really important thing to recognize is that, you know, those ponds and wetlands they're creating are providing all kinds of immense benefits for us, right? They're filtering out water pollution, and they're storing water in the face of drought, and they're capturing carbon, and they're just providing all of these wonderful services. They're preventing the spread of wildfire in some cases. So yes, they're causing some small amount of property damage in some cases, and they can be challenging to live with, but the immense benefits they provide far, far outweigh any of those negative costs.
So they're helping with climate change, essentially.
Beavers are incredible climate change adaptation tools, right? You think about here in the American West, you know, so much of our water comes from snowpack, right? We depend on all of that snow falling up in the mountains, and then that snow gradually melts all spring and summer and even into early fall. And that's what keeps water in our streams and rivers and irrigation ditches. The problem is that as the climate warms, you know, that precipitation is falling as rain rather than snow, so it's running off the landscape right away, and we're not getting that long-term drawn-out trickle. So we need some way of keeping the water on the landscape, right? And that's exactly what beavers do. They're building thousands of little reservoirs for us up in the high country, capturing that water and gradually releasing it throughout the summer. They're spreading water laterally onto the floodplain, they're soaking water into the ground, and they're helping to grow plants. You know, I've talked to ranchers who say that, you know, beavers can increase the productivity of some of their pastures tenfold by spreading water out and letting it soak into the ground and just increasing that vegetation. They spread water out, so they create these fire breaks and fire refugia where all of the animals can retreat during a big fire. Emily Fairfax, this great beaver wildfire researcher, she's actually proposed that the Forest Service change its mascot from Smokey Bear to Smokey Beaver, since, you know, beavers fight fires.
Genius.
Yeah, so I think Smokey Bear is cool. I don't want to totally demote him, but he can have like a beaver sidekick or
I'd
something.
vote for that.
That would be fun.
What is their importance, not just in the West, but in other areas of the country?
You know, beavers are doing incredibly valuable work all over the place. Think about a stream in a very agriculturally intensive region like the Chesapeake Bay watershed, and that stream is carrying nitrates and phosphates and all kinds of pollutants from agriculture, and, you know, we need some way of filtering out those pollutants, and that's what beaver ponds do, right? They slow down those flows, give those nitrates and phosphates and other, you know, pesticides and herbicides a chance to settle out and be captured in the bottom of the pond.
Would there ever be any sort of reintroduction of beavers into a habitat that really needs their engineering?
There are lots of projects all over the country, especially in the American West, where they're live trapping some of those animals that are maybe causing conflicts on private property, and then moving them typically onto public land up in the forest, sort of far from houses and roads and other infrastructure, where they can just, build their dams and create their ponds and do their thing relatively far from people. That's done a huge amount of good to restore some of these beaver populations in places where they historically lived, but then we trap them out.